in my previous video, I stated that I'm not creating content anymore until sort of life works out a bit fairer. I've put so much effort into the content I've created, from the books to the videos, everything. I've put all my soul into everything, with very little to no reward. And it hasn't been a fair journey at all. So I've sort of challenged the universe right now to step up and start giving me something to look forward to. I also mentioned in that video that I also stated that I've said to the universe, do not get anyone messaging me this weekend, because I am not answering. Because I've been in a terrible mood all weekend, been low, just fed up in general. Like, everything lost meaning to an extent. I don't want to go down a whole sort of depressive state. I don't want to go down that path. It's more about balance in our life and what's fair. So I think you do good. Kindness should come to you. Maybe not immediately. Maybe you get tested along the way. But eventually, I think things should sort of like improve. It shouldn't be 6 years on and life's a mess, and you're miserable. Where's the balance? Where's the fairness? It's ridiculous. But this is more about sort of love and romance, and it's not specific. It's not aimed specifically at people. I think it's important we try to keep this as open as we can. I think, because I wouldn't want to make someone feel vulnerable or insecure. What I would say is, when anyone bears their soul to someone and they allow themselves to be vulnerable, that takes strength, that takes courage, and that should be applauded. But there's another side to that, where I think once we bare our soul once to someone, I think continually doing it without it being reciprocated, it just demeans our own worth. It goes both sides here. Like, there'll be people who are attracted to me and I'm not attracted back, and there's nothing you could do about it. There's nothing it's one of those where you can't. It's not something that could be manipulated. Love can't be manipulated. That's lust. That's all the other things that go into perceived romance. That's not a romance. It's taking advantage of people. So it goes both sides. Like, for instance, there's going to be people attracted to me and I don't feel that way back. There's going to be people I'm attracted to, they don't feel that way back. So we all go through hurt, loss, even betrayals, but we also may get fortunate and actually have an actual genuine love. So before I go on the other side, let's talk this side. With me, I would never lead anyone along. I would never waste their time. I would never, ever make them do something that it just takes advantage of someone. I wouldn't do it. So, for instance, if I already met someone I like, and let's say it's not reciprocated, okay, that's fine. People have their own prerogative. It's up to them how they choose their life. At the end of the day, not everybody's looking for multiple partners. So you can't sit there and get all too low about it and it hit your self-esteem, because everybody has that prerogative. It might be you tick 9 boxes and there's just one. Let's say there's 10 boxes. It ticks 9. It just doesn't pick the last one. And you might think that's not fair. Like, it's not about what's fair. It's their heart. It's literally, what life do they see with someone? And it doesn't matter how close you might come or you don't come in that list. It's just, if you're not for them, that really does mean that they're not for you either. So it's understanding that when one door closes, another one opens. So you've got to think about it and think, okay, if that's not realistic and that's not an opportunity, what is it I'm genuinely seeing in that person? And then start honing in on that, on what you're looking for in someone else. And then eventually, maybe you meet that person. So like for me, let's say I like someone and it doesn't happen. And yeah, it's just as heartbreaking for me as it is for anybody else. All of a sudden, that's the barometer of what I'm looking for. Now I know what makes my heart sing. Now I know what my heart yearns for. What are the qualities? And then for everybody, even though it wasn't an opportunity, this is how I live. Even though that wasn't an opportunity, because it didn't happen. That's still the bar. That's the bar for me now, because I've seen what would actually excite me, what would make me happy. And anybody else I meet has to either meet or exceed that bar. Because anything less, it's not fair on the other person anyway, is it? Because think about it. If that means, let's say you was to take someone who doesn't quite hit those marks, you would be in a relationship just for convenience, because you're not entirely satisfied, because you're not having all the criteria met. So does that means potentially, if you was to meet someone in the future who does meet that criteria, that's a lot of chaos that can come from that, because you're not going to deny yourself. Realistically, out of loyalty, this is the problem with some people. I don't condone cheating, and it's not saying I would do. So if there's a chance I like someone, I would just you'd have to just end the relationship and just say, look, I know my heart isn't here. And it's like, even if there's a risk of you having nothing, but that's integrity, and I think that you can have loyalty, but you can have loyalty to a fault. So where you don't do that and you just stay with someone and you see them people, they're not happy. It's a relationship from convenience. I don't want a convenient relationship. So it's not, and again, I wouldn't want to deny someone the opportunity to find their love. So although they may see it in me at times, it's like, I'm telling you, if I'm saying no, no, I'm telling you I'm not seeing it, and I'm saving you a lot of heartache and trauma. I'm saving that situation by saying no now. You don't have to go down that path. It literally frees you up to go and explore and meet your person. I don't like wasting people's time. It's not innate natural for me. I'm not a player. I don't play with people's hearts. I rather give people the freedom to find their love. It would take someone very, very special to me to be in my life. And that's not saying people are not necessarily special in their qualities, but it just takes someone that I'm looking for that actually just blows my mind. And it's like, my God, you have to feel effectively you want, and again, it relays back because I just want to show people what I'm looking for too. And it's how you should feel. I want someone when they're with me, their eyes light up. They feel just as lucky to have me as I have them. And that is reciprocal. So you don't want to be, ideally, obviously, you don't want to be in a relationship with someone where you're not getting that feedback back. Okay, maybe you would feel that way. And you go, yeah, but I would feel that way. But then do they, someone might look at me like that and it might be like, but you're always yearning for me to look at you in the same way. And let's say I don't. Eventually it's going to take its toll. And it's like, what am I doing? It's like, you're not doing anything wrong. We was just never 100% compatible. We might have similar qualities, but I think sometimes you could be too similar anyway. I think there's a problem with that. I'm not looking for someone. I'm not looking for a relationship with someone that's similar to me. That'd give me a headache. That's the thing. I'm looking for someone who, in some ways, is the opposite to me. I'm not going to give away all the qualities I want from someone. Because that gives someone like a cheat book. I know what I'm looking for, and it would counter who I am, but have similar morals. It would just blend beautifully. So it opens up so much more to life, to experiences. I think when you're just similar, it takes you down a very narrow path. That's why they say opposites attract, and I believe that to a degree. I think you have to share a similar moral code, like integrity, for instance, values, and all those things. But I think beyond that, I think it's nice to have someone a bit different. It makes them eccentric to you, and vice versa. So it's like something exciting in that sense. But like I say, I think one of the main takeaways is it's really vital that we don't put ourselves in situations where you're giving more to a situation than someone's giving to you. Just because you feel lucky to have their attention. It's like, that shouldn't be it at all. So like, I've learned that myself. Like, there's someone I really, really liked, and I've waited like 4 years for them, and I've got tired of waiting. And it took, I wouldn't say disrespect, but it took them choosing different paths away from me continuously for me to detach from it. Like, I had them on a high pedestal before, and I don't doubt that their personality would match beautifully with mine. And in different circumstances, we could have had a beautiful life. But it's like shoulda, woulda, coulda sort of thing, It's like it could have happened, perhaps should have happened, who knows? But it's like, there's no point beating it to death. Things have changed. It's permanently altered the dynamic. Now, that's not to say it can't be healed. I don't know. But it's not something I'm genuinely focused on at the moment, Since then, I met someone else, very brief encounter, but I had a very positive vibe with them. And I thought, this is really nice. And again, it countered my energy. It countered who I am. But it was a very nurturing way. And I thought, this is nice. I feel safe. I think that's an important place to be. So like I said, it's not, when it comes to love, and I think this is what it is, and I really just want to drill this into people, love is not something that can be circumvented and sort of augmented and manipulated into something that you want it to be. Love is pure. It's unconditional. And it should be free, And I think if you have to work too hard at it, like too hard, it's not love. It's convenience. I don't want convenience. I talk a lot. I am lonely, and I get incredibly lonely. But the reality is, if I can go 8 years alone, I can go the rest of my life alone if I have to. I've set the bar high. It's possibly unrealistic, and it's like I live by that. but I'm not going to waste like my time and someone else's. I have a daughter as well, so that's for me. I'm not putting her in and out of relationships and situations. Now we can't guarantee if a relationship or connection works out, but I know her personality. Of course, I know my personality, and I know what we're both looking for. And you could argue it's not about her. No, in some ways it's not, but she's a huge part of my life, and we share very similar personalities. And I know who I'm supposed to be with, and I have no doubt about this in my heart. We'll get on absolutely. We'll get on beautifully with her. And when I say get on beautifully with her, she will get on beautifully with them. And it'll be like between the three of us, it's like kindred spirits in our own unique way. And someone can have a nice personality; they can be nice. Doesn't mean they're going to vibe with her. She could be like my personality. She can be just as challenging as me, but someone that aligns would just get it beautifully. And I think that's the thing. I think some people see I think the reality is, I think the quality people see in me, for the most part, those that maybe are attracted to me. Now, most people are not. They're going to be repelled because I'm too outspoken. It's going to be far too much. And yeah, I'm abrasive as well. So there's going to be that side of my personality. I think those that get beyond that and they get attracted to me, I personally think the thing they're drawn to the most is integrity. I think you might look at all the other things and think, you're so similar. It's like we're not, though. I think the value you hold is integrity. The fact that too many people in this world are not honest, so you can't trust them. And that's that's a horrible place to go into any connection, isn't it? Not knowing whether you can trust someone. But I think integrity it gives you a stable foundation. And it's a beautiful foundation. I think that's the thing we all seek in people. And it's not an easy quality to find, unfortunately. So I think when people look at compatibility, I think for the most part, they're potentially seeing that in me. And that's enough to reduce all the other values or sort of like mold them into what you want it to be. And that's what I think. Where I'm heading in life is not for the faint of heart. And I won't limit my purpose. I won't devalue my life. And, my values are too high. So where I'm going, I don't think it's for the every person. I really don't. It's going to be for all the healing I intend to do on the world, especially not just through my books, for what I intend to do in life. See, I get frustrated, but I have no doubt of the sort of prophecy, if you like. And I know these are strange things to talk about. It's like I won't diminish that for a relationship, for instance. Like, so whoever I'm with has to be able to handle it. And if they can't, I absolutely understand that. But it's not something that I'm prepared to circumvent, if you like. And I know it's going to take an incredibly resilient, incredibly strong personality to come where I'm going, because everything in life is polarizing. So as much as you may have the intention to heal, for every person you want to heal is going to be another person who wants to attack. So if, for instance, the work I do touches the hearts of millions one day, you have to understand there's going to be a million people who want to hurt you. They don't like you. It's like, can you handle that? I can handle that. Bring it on. Most people can't. So it's no point looking like everything's a fairy tale and it's all going to be like living peace. We're on cloud 9. There's a real part of life we have to handle here. So like I say, where I'm going in life is not for the faint of heart. And I've said it a long time ago. About 6 years ago, I think I was talking about this. I can't remember exactly how many. And I said, anyone that tries to imitate me, they must understand they're going to go places they're not expecting. Right now, they might think, oh, I can do that. But at some point, it's going to get hard. And you're going to go somewhere you wasn't expecting to go. And you won't be able to handle it because you was never prepared. So from that side, it does require certain personalities. But of course, on the other side of that, it's like, can you let that sort of go from your mind to enjoy life still? Because you can't let the weight of situations. I live my life. What will be, will be. My fate, my outcome, it's ordained. It will happen how it's supposed to be. Maybe you die of old age. Maybe you're made a martyr. I don't get. It's not something I worry about. It's like time will come when it's supposed to come, and then I'll be at peace. but I think it's more important that we make the most of life and we have the impact we're supposed to. And if it comes with risk, it comes with risk. I think the reward for humanity is worth the risk for a lifetime, a single lifetime. Um, Now, my spirituality may impress some people. There might be people who are spiritual. There might be people who are not spiritual, but they're curious and they sort of think of you as a wizard. They think of you as Harry Potter or something. And it's like, again, that's delusional. It's like if people see you in that light, that gets a bit crazy. But the ones that get it, I think will see your connection. I think they'll understand sort of more about life, its purpose, like, and things like that. And I think that's a nice thing to have in common with people. But like I said, I think I honestly, I want people to look at situations in the same way I do, especially when it comes to rejection. It's like, for instance, the person who I felt I had a connection with for like 4 years, it never worked. We long distance. We haven't even, there's a whole complication around that. But what I would say is, I told them a long time ago I like them. They know I like them. And they went off and they've had different experiences. And again, long distance with different countries. On the face of it, it's impossible anyway. And even if it magically happened in the future, because after it would take a talk, it would take a deep introspection, it would take straightening away the layers and an awful lot of honesty. It would have to be totally understand each other's situation and then decide whether that's still viable, whether we're still interested, whether it still feels similar. There's so many variables to it. But I've already told them I like them. So at this point, the ball is not in my court. I think, like I said, I think it takes an awful lot of strength to be vulnerable with people. But I don't chase anyone. Doesn't mean I'm not interested in people. I don't chase. You could argue I don't chase, I attract. I don't seem to attract too well either. But overall, I'm just not interested in chasing people. If someone wants to be in my life, then they'll try. If they don't, even if I have a strong attachment to them, you have to let them go. You have to let them go. And that's where I'm at. If someone knows I like them, whether I've created content and they may have seen it, they may not have seen it yet. Maybe they'll see it in the future. Maybe they'll see something. At that point, I've made it public or I've told them personally. I'm not going to go around harassing people. For example, that's not only rude, it's unhinged. So I think once you've told someone once, the ball is in their court. If you have to say it yet again, so you have to go out your way to say it again, it's like, I don't want to say desperation, but it is desperation to an extent, because it's not even like desperate for it. In some ways, maybe in that instance, you're desperate for love, but it's not that. You're desperate for the person to see you for who you are. You're desperate to convince them. You shouldn't have to convince anyone of anything. I know all my qualities, right? Of course I do. Everybody does know their own qualities. I know how direct I am, how assertive I am. I know how intelligent I am. I know how spiritually psychic connected I am to the other side. I know how divinely guided I am. I know of my purpose. I know what's ordained. I know how quirky I am. I know how silly I can be, how goofy I can be, how immature I can be at times. I have various levels to my personality that don't just fit in a box. I'm not just what someone expects. I'm very, very different. And at the end of the day, it's for someone to really see that in me immediately. It's like, or to figure it out as they go, but still love every side of you, and it's not for me to convince them. So it's not for me to approach someone and then say something and then go, oh yeah, but you're seeing it all wrong. I'm not always like that. I have this stuff. I'm not begging no one for nothing. It's like, if it's got to be that hard, it's not worth it. I don't know. Look, there's working on relationships. Once you're in a relationship, I think there's layers, there's levels. It's a bit like that I said about this other person. There's things to heal. And if you decided together, you're both committed to this 100%, you literally make that commitment to each other, then you're in it. You're in the trenches together. And now there's a give and take. Now it's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take time. It's going to take personal sacrifice. It's going to take financial sacrifice. It may even take a relocation. Well, it's going to take a relocation for someone, because if not someone, both of you. If you live in two different countries, one's going to have to move to the other one, or we have to both move to a neutral one. Either way, there's going to be upheaval. So, from my point of view, there's give and take later in a relationship, but it shouldn't be give and take when it comes to introducing ourselves to someone. And that's the thing with me. Like, I might really, really like someone. I might think, God damn, you're not only beautiful, but your energy radiates so beautiful. and it brings me so much peace. It excites me in every way, and I'm mesmerized, just like magnetized to that person. But that person might just look at, nah, that you don't interest me. It's like there's nothing I can do about it. It's like I'm not going to sell myself to someone. I'm not going to go, oh yeah, but you're dismissing me too early. I mean, have you seen how intelligent I am? Have you seen how I I am not doing any of that shit. You either see it or you don't. If you don't, then that was a beautiful energy that just gone passing through life. Um, and it's just the way, like I said, the way I see it is like I can only say from myself because I don't know everybody else's goals in life. I'm not looking for 100 people. I'm looking for one very, very special person. And that means all the boxes tick. And I know I'm a very good judge of character for the most part. And my intuition just pulls me towards the right people. And it's very rare, very, very rare. Right now, there's two people in the whole entire world where my heart gets excited at the thought of them. Two people in the entire world. It doesn't mean I won't happen across someone else who makes me feel that way. But so far they're the only ones. And I've met very beautiful people. I've met very intelligent people. And it's just not how the heart goes. The heart doesn't just gravitate to those things. I worked alongside a very, very pretty girl, young woman, whatever you want to call her. Like really, really pretty. She was like, I've worked in warehousing, and she was just in the building. She was the most pretty one out of everyone. A lot of people just kept gravitating to her to talk. That you literally trying to get her attention all the time, and I just smiled, I just laughed. And she'd come and chat to me, and we'd chat. It's like I wasn't flirting with her, and I'm no good at picking up on. See, I'm good at I'm good at judging connections with people. When it comes to flirting, I'm terrible. I just haven't got a clue. So someone might play with their hair, and I wouldn't think anything of it. Someone might just be like smiling, and I just think they're smiling. It's like I haven't got a clue sometimes. But she was nice, yeah, and even she would call for me, like if we're in the area or something, or she'd get happy when she sees me and smiles, and I'm saying they were just nice, and it's nice to you say it doesn't matter about the outside. They were still a nice person, but I didn't feel, oh, that's the person I'm going to marry one day. I didn't have that feeling. So like with me, for instance, I'm not saying this just to try and push people up, like create a narrative here. Like, well, don't worry about him; he's safe. It's not. I'm not trying to say that, but I'm not someone who my eyes wander. I don't wander like that, So if I was in a relationship, for instance, or you're married, and then someone sees me talking to a female, for instance, it's because I'm just chatting. I can have a laugh. I can be happy, I think the idea that you can't have just be happy around other people, I think is mental. But there is a boundary to be had. I'm not sure, really, in my honest opinion, whether I think men and women can be friends. I'm still on the fence with that. Part of me thinks you can if there's genuinely no attraction, but I think if there's any attraction, I think it's dangerous. And when I say dangerous, it's not that something's going to happen. It's just that it gets complicated. It's like my mum's had an issue. She's older now, My stepdad passed away, and there's a male friend in the family, and they go for coffee, they go to garden centres, they go for breakfasts and things, and even on holiday together. And it's just to her, it's just a friend, and that's all it'll ever be. He's always attracted to her, and he doesn't let it go. Like, so one minute he can be okay being friends, then he gets a bit weird. So then she has to say, "Look, you can't. This is no good." And then they don't talk for a month or so, and then somehow he settles down again, and it always goes through the same repeated pattern. And I'm thinking, like, as nice a guy as he is, and he is a nice guy, if even in an older age they don't get it, you have to cut them people loose. Personally, I think it doesn't matter how nice they are. If they're not going to respect the fact that that's the boundary, and they're always going to have a feeling, then you need to let them free and let them find someone, because clearly they're not going to let it go. And that's how I feel. So yeah, I think men and women can be friends if there's no attraction to each other. There's no chemistry there. I think as soon as there's chemistry, you have to just let it go, because it's always going to be one pulling on the other, and they're always going to have hidden intentions, even if they're not expressing it. And I just think at that point, it's just dangerous for everyone, because you don't need that. You don't need the hassle of it. It's just clear it. Anyway, this has probably been a lot longer than I planned, and it's just And I didn't even want to do any more videos because I'm waiting for the universe to sort of like give me something in life now. Like, come on, it's about time. Um, but yeah, some people might use spirituality as a way to garner relationships as well, just to touch on that. And in all honesty, I don't like when it comes to love with me, I go by my intuition, how I feel. I just follow my heart. With the right person, my heart will sort of skip a beat. It'll be like I'm in the presence of something incredible, and I know I am. And there's nothing you could do statistics wise to figure that out. You couldn't put characteristics and number them 1 to 100 and figure out what AI model is going to figure out your partner. It's a feeling. And that's what I put it down to. It's a feeling. So it doesn't matter if, you're seeking this, you're seeking that, and you go, we're compatible. It's like, that's not how it works. It's not always scientific. I was going to say something there. But yeah, so for instance, I'm not going to specifically lean on spirituality or anything divine to figure out my heart. The only way I would use that, I have asked questions about specific people in my life because I wanted clarity a little bit just to find out what my guides thought of a situation when I'm interested. To find out, first of all, would that person even be interested? How compatible are we? And what do my guides think? And I go a little bit further. Is there potential for, like, get married? Would we have children? I can't help it. And and a lot of time I get the clarification. One way or another, I get an answer. And to be honest, the ones I've liked, the 2 people I've had positive feedback from spirit source, the potential for marriage, the potential for children. And that's nice. That's the validation after I'm already attracted to. So, for instance, if I was to ask my guides about someone I don't feel attracted to, I honestly couldn't give a crap. I don't care what my guides think about that. They can give you a compatibility answer, and it's like, but if I don't feel it, what's the point? It's just a transaction. I don't always listen to spirit. They're there to guide us and things, but I'm not always gonna. It's not gonna be a case of, even if they said, "Oh, that's the one we want for you." It's like, I don't care what you want for me. I'm here living the experience. I know what I'm looking for. Trust that I'll sort it out, and I will ask for support. And when I'm asking for support, I genuinely want their advice. But there has to be, the whole point is that I'm living the experience in the same way everyone is living their experiences. Sometimes we're gonna make mistakes, but you stand by those mistakes. And the one thing with me is, I will never, like I said at the beginning, I would never ever lead someone on. So this is the thing, out of sheer principle, I would never reach out in that circumstance. If I had a choice between A and B, let's say there's 2 people. Effectively, there's 2 people I have an attraction to. Neither are romantic connections. Like, one I only met briefly for an hour. I haven't seen or spoke to him since. It would be an absolute miracle to even hear from him. The other one, I was in my heart for like 4 years, and they still went every other way apart from me. So, life isn't that simple. But everybody has their reasons, and they have their own healing journey, and it's respecting that. So it's understanding that life isn't always as simple as we think, and you can hold people accountable, but you don't understand the story. So it's really just like, I think I have an open mind. But let's say person A and person B approached me at the same time, or even if one approached after, however it works. You have to make a choice. You can't, well, you can, because some people do, but I don't. I personally think you lead people on, you all get burnt. You have to make a decision, and then just like live with that decision and stop looking back. So let's say, A and B, I chose B. For me personally, that means I can never ever be with A. Even if it doesn't work out, I can't be with A, even though they were a viable alternative and probably would have a great life if it doesn't work out with B. But from my point of view, no one should ever go through their life being someone's second choice. And I feel strongly in that. So even if it didn't work out with the other person and there's a chance you could be together, it's not fair for the other person to have to be the option. And so I couldn't put them through that, because even if they don't say it, in the back of their mind, you chose someone else. Now, of course, life isn't so Perfect. So you don't know overall, but it's like I don't agree with that get out of jail free card sort of thing. Well, let me just try this, and then I'll get back to you because that's effectively what that is. Even if you're not saying it out loud and the other person isn't fully aware, that's exactly what it is. I'm going to try this. Give me a moment. It's like no one deserves that. You make a decision, you own it. You don't get to just dabble everywhere you want. Um, so, like I said, if someone's already opened their heart in the past and they didn't get the feedback they wanted, I think keep probing in that direction is devaluing yourself. Now, of course, people heal, people can expand, people can evolve. So there's a chance that maybe you've improved. But again, the ball was never in their court because they've already expressed how they feel. It's then up to the other person to express how they feel. And if they don't feel that way, then you have to just let it go and just get on with your life, you know? Um, Hopefully I've expressed this well enough because I think the best way I could have come at it was the way I'm coming at it, which is thinking about my own life. How I hold myself to a high standard, but I also hold other people to a high standard. And even if I'm attracted to someone, it doesn't, and I get rejected, I don't question myself. I don't question like my qualities. If someone doesn't see it in me, I don't care. If it's not good enough for them, I don't care because everybody's criteria is different. And not everybody can see you for who you are. And the way I see it is, and this is how I truly see it, and I think that's why I think it's beautiful. I think the one meant for us will see the beauty in us entirely. And you'll see it in them. And you'll just light up. Effectively, you just take on each other's flaws and everything. You just like, even with your flaws, it's perfect. And I think in that situation, you haven't got to convince them of anything. You just got to be honest. I think just always have integrity and always be honest. I think that's a great place to be. And I think at that point, you're building a great foundation, a solid foundation. And then all those other ones that maybe they were pretty, maybe they did have nice energy, maybe they had this and that. They never saw those values in you. So they obviously weren't for you. You just saw a glimpse of something you was attracted to. A brief glimpse. Like I say, I think most people who maybe come across me, I think the thing they will gravitate to just is that integrity. Just saying it how it is. It's refreshing in a world that's toxic and greedy and manipulative. But I would say there are kind people out there. And there are honest people. It's not easy to come by, but it exists. And it's like, don't attach so heavily to me. Because like I said, with me, I am quite abrasive. I am confrontational. There's a lot of sides to me. And there's also creative side, a passionate side, whimsical, silly. There's just so many layers to me. And I think most people wouldn't handle all the layers. That's what I think. So like my intelligence might scare some people, might make them feel inferior, so they don't like it because it challenges them a little bit. Some people don't like to be challenged. Some people don't like deep introspection. Someone else might not like the silly, goofy side of me. They might think it's too immature. They might say, grow up, or don't be so you're so silly. It's like, I don't want to be with someone who's overly serious. Like I don't want to be with someone, I don't want to say boring, but that's what that would be. There's a passionate side to me. I'm very free spirited, but also, in terms of like love and romance and things, it's like, I don't want to be in a situation where it's not exciting at times and it's just, there's no passion. You want all the boxes ticked. And there's so many things I look for and I don't even have to look, I feel it. And I'm like, this one gets it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's not really something that you can quantify through a book list or something. It's just literally, it's a feeling. So yeah, this was just, I thought I'd best do this. Like I said, I didn't want to do any more videos. I do enjoy doing videos. I'm just fed up that at the moment it all seems for nothing, and I'm getting quite down about that, to be totally honest. Because I think I have a lot to give to the world, but it's not hitting the audiences, and I'm sick and tired of being held back. But hopefully this video has gone some way to, I think, not maybe validating to people about setting boundaries. I think loving themselves, appreciating your qualities. The qualities I have are not necessarily qualities other people will have, but it's not about that at all. It's literally just embrace who you are and don't feel like you've got to oversell yourself or even sell yourself. I think naturally people will be attracted to you and gravitate to you just by being yourself in everyday life anyway. You don't have to put on, like, if you're a female, for instance, you don't have to put extravagant amounts of makeup on and wear your best clothes and all that crap. If it makes you feel good, that's the thing. Like, for instance, if I'm on a date with someone, this is the thing with me, like, if anything, someone being too pretty would feel a little bit intimidating. I'm just saying. If you're too pretty, it can feel like, wow, that's just too stunning. It's like, do you know what I mean? Are you sure you're here with me? Do you know what I mean? Like, even we all have insecurities, and I think women can look incredibly pretty, and it can feel intimidating. But again, if there's, I don't I don't care about any of it. You know, it's like, yeah, I think it make them look even more attractive. But I think it's just as attractive to be yourself and be natural. You know. So I wouldn't want, for instance, if I was on let's say he's on a first date, I wouldn't want someone to feel like they've got to go and get so many beauty treatments before they go on a date, and they've got to sort all their hair out to be absolutely perfect, and then they've got to sit there for half an hour picking out their clothes. I wouldn't want someone to feel they have to put any more effort in than I do. And literally, I would just have a shower, literally throw on whatever I've got. And that's not disrespecting people. I just want to be comfortable. And it's the same. That's all I would expect of someone else. It's more important that you're just comfortable with each other. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you don't have to be a model. But again, if someone does it because it makes them feel good, then that's up to them. As long as they're doing it for them, I wouldn't want someone to go through loads of things for me. It's like, I'm quite simple and laid back, you know. Um, I'm just more interested in spending time with people. Like the right person, I just want to spend time with them. So I don't. I'm simple like that. I don't care. You know, we could go even something simple. You can go cinema. You can go, like, you go for a nice restaurant. You can go to a normal restaurant. You can go to McDonald's for all I care. You do. I mean, I ain't about the setting. It's about the company. Um. So yeah. Anyway, I thought I'd just share that, and then hopefully that might make some people feel better as well, knowing that some guys maybe they don't they're not looking for all that superficial stuff. But again, it doesn't make me feel like, if someone's genuinely doing, you know, if someone's like putting filler in their lips and doing all weird shit to their body and stuff, then I'd say, well, you got to draw a line, because now you're not even natural. That worries me. I like natural. So I'm someone that genuinely gravitates to natural beauty, someone who's just natural. I don't like all that, you know, manipulation and stuff. I don't do anything manipulating my body. It's like what you see is what you get. It's just natural. If my hair falls out, my hair falls out. If my hair goes grey, it goes grey. Um, it is what it is. I am who I am, and I don't expect someone to be anything other than them. Of course, if people have gone off and done that, it's just what I'm saying is, for me personally, that's not what I'm attracted to. So if someone's gone to have fillers in their lips and shit, it's like, that's not, I can guarantee now that would be someone I'm not attracted to, and that's someone I wouldn't be in a relationship with. And you could say that's superficial reason. It's not. I'm looking for, my heart is seeking someone who's just genuinely themselves, natural. They can embrace their flaws and everything and just say, this is me. I love me for me. And I think if you don't love you for you and you've manipulated yourself in some way, for me, that's not pure. And that's not what I'm seeking in someone. Not to say that it's wrong for them, but for me, that's not what I'm looking for. So anyway, again, it is what it is. I think we all have a criteria, and I think that's fair. Anyway, it's not for us to justify love, is it? It's for us to just open our hearts and be ready to receive when the time is right.